right, what's going on, guys? So I am here with one of my favorite clients, Joe of Epic Systems in New Jersey. They're a smart home tech and installation company. But Joe, I'll let you do the intro for yourself.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Joe. Like Spencer said, I'm based out of New Jersey, New York City. I run a smart home integration AV tech design company. I took over for my dad a few years ago. I've been in the industry for a long time and I'm kind of trying to go a different direction with it with social media and networking and pushing the branding side of it forward. So, been working with Spencer now for a little while and yeah.
Yeah, so like before we started working together, like what would you say was kind of like your biggest struggle with like marketing and like what was your business like then?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest struggle is obviously making consistent content. Just not having someone. If I don't make the content, you're going to push me for the content. So that is really helpful. Number one, just having like an accountability partner where if we're posting and we're not seeing traction, we kind of get discouraged and we just stop posting almost. So it's nice kinda having that partnership with you where you're always pushing us to keep posting and keep consistency. And then also just, like, ideas, really. Like, I didn't when we first started working together, it was mostly for, like, editing and, like, your clipping style, but then I realized, like, it's more about you just provide like a whole branding strategy and a direction and different ideas for not just what to say in the videos, but just like overall high level ideas for videos, what to say in the videos, all that stuff. So, I mean, besides the editing portion, I would say those are like the two biggest things for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I know, I kinda call it, like, the job walk style of content now, like, that's how I'm marketing it, and I feel like you've definitely, like, really refined that, like, I'm so impressed now. A lot of the times when I get the raw video, like, you have really you have that skill now where, like, you see something, you know it's gonna make good content, and then you also can build the hook on the spot, and, like, that's really the style of content that I try and for home service business, construction businesses, that's really what I recommend because it's unscripted. You can do a ton of it, if you have the time, and it's just candid, man. That's what the people like, Like those are always the best videos that we do.
Yeah, I mean, I always believed in it because I always believe that people buy from people and people buy from people that they like too. And they don't you don't necessarily need to be the known as the best of the best, but if you're the most well known and if you're always in their face and if they like you and they trust you, then well to them you're the best. And that's really what it comes down to. So
Mhm.
it really does show for a lot. So
Yeah, you've told me some pretty great stories, just as far as, like, people know you now, like, people not even just people looking for smart homes, but, like, I remember, I would say it was probably 2 months in when we had our first just, like, banger, and, like, it was, like, just random people, like, do you wanna, like, give some of
yeah,
the
I
stories?
mean, I walked into 7-Eleven. He was like, "Ah, I think I see you're the guy on Instagram." And at that point, we had only been posting for, what, 2 or 3 weeks. And then I would start getting people reaching out from, everywhere and emails, Instagram saying, "Oh, I've been watching you forever on social media. I've been following for so long." And I'm like, "We've only been posting for a few weeks," but it's that brand awareness because they see the one viral video and then they start seeing the other content. And it's like, the way we structure our content is I'm in every video, so they just associate me with the content. But yeah, it happened there. Then we went to one of the coolest experiences was when we went to NKBA, which is like a builder designer trade show. And I went there with one of my manufacturer reps who has seen our videos, has seen the views, but doesn't really, a lot of our industry doesn't do social media. So she doesn't really understand the value behind it. Well, we went there and we had two people come up and approach us, but one person we walked past him and his head turned and he was like, are you are you the guy from social media who I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's what I do." And he's like, "Oh, you're the guy who does the ads on the Lutron panels, right?" I'm like, "No, it's all organic content." He's like, "Oh, I see your videos all the time. I love it, blah, blah, blah." That ended up turning into a job we quoted. So, we haven't gotten the job
Really?
yet. We're still working with them, but turned into a quote. And I mean, that happens all the time. Even our existing clients now, which is kinda cool, where Tom or Starling will go to somebody's house and they'll be like, "Oh, where's the social media guy? Where's Joe?" So and it also helps legitimize us to like other people in the industry when I show up at a job site or whatever. A lot of times, like the builder recognizes me or recognize like "Oh, you look familiar," you know? And, I know I'm going on here, but one last thing I will say is for networking, like, we do a lot of, like, networking events and, continuing education, like CEUs and stuff like that. It's a lot easier when you show up to the event and just even if one person looks at you and they're kinda looking at you a little bit and you're like start talking and they're like, "Oh, that's where I've seen you. You're the guy who makes the so it just makes the initial contact for me, like, even if we got no jobs from it, just having the branding and being able to, like they come up to me and start asking me questions is, like, great, and they're not just saying, "Oh, what's your morning routine?" and stuff. They're asking like, "Oh, you talk about Lutron, you talk about Sonos, you talk about building new construction houses." Like, they're talking about stuff that they're actually looking at buying and the stuff that I'm gonna sell them. So they're coming to me already making my pitch easier. So
Yeah. No, it's great, and I think it makes selling a lot easier because the leads that are coming in, because it's from organic, it's all warm traffic. Like, these are people that have seen you a lot. So getting into that, let's talk some of the numbers. You sent over some of the results, so far. I guess I'll preface by saying we now do consistently at least 1,000,000 views per month. Um, in total, at the moment, we've done between 12 and 13,000,000 views across, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. YouTube, we started from 0, and you just hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube in 3 months, which is pretty cool. That's the honestly, of all the metrics, that's the one that I'm like, "Hell yeah,"
yep,
because subscribers, that's, like, worth 5 followers, on Instagram or whatever. Um, just hit 10,000 on TikTok too, I saw,
yep.
and then Instagram, I think we grew, like, 25,000 followers,
I
something.
think we grew more. So we started I took over social media, we were at, like, 35 we were at 40. I would say we were at 40,000 max, and we are just about I mean, I would say, like, if we get these next batch of job walks I just did yesterday, we're gonna hit 80K probably over the weekend or, like, we're at 79.4 right now, and we just
Yeah,
every time I look, it grows. We probably grow by I mean, we slowed down when we're not having super viral content, but still, like, maybe 1,000 to 2,000 followers a week, which is still
yep.
pretty good. I mean, it keeps ticking up.
Yep. Yeah, and so that's kind of those are the vanity metrics, right?
Yeah.
But we get down to brass tacks, what have we been able to generate for you in, like, the last 4 months?
So what we came up with was we had 37 confirmed leads, and we came up with that where they filled out the contact form on our website. They sent us a DM, and then they actually carried over into an email, a phone call, or they filled out the contact form on the website, which I think I said. So 37 confirmed leads. That's what we're counting as leads. They came in, and we were able to at least talk to them. Then we got to a point where we were able to send 17 of them were able to be sent quotes. The other people, maybe they didn't know how expensive things were. It's not the right time. Some of those 37 confirmed leads, we may still go back and quote later. It's new construction, so it's a very long sales cycle. But we had 17 quotes sent. Off those 17 quotes, we averaged, or not the average, but the total was $678,000 quoted across those 17 quotes. And then our confirmed revenue from just the social media leads. So we go from 37 confirmed leads, we quoted 17 of them. Of those 17 quotes, we have 191,000, 390,000 in confirmed revenue so far. So we're in new construction, so that means that it's, a couple projects still for us. But that's a good number. That's definitely a good number. And then the other number that we're excited about, because we've only been working together for 5 months, 6 months, 4 months, whatever it's been, is the pipeline. So we're always thinking about like pipeline, building relationships with builders and stuff like that. And just in the confirmed pipeline, we have 235,000 in deals that we expect to close in the next 30 days. So that's either we've made revision V2, V3, we've met with architect, designer, builder all together, things like that. And then one metric that I didn't even include is like, in that 191,000 in confirmed revenue, one of those jobs was with a builder. And now, there's a very good chance that we get into the next 3, 4 projects with that builder. That 100 and whatever, 25,000 that job was could turn into 5 of those a year. So,
Right.
that I didn't even include, but So
Yeah.
to give one total breakdown, 37 confirmed leads. We sent 17 quotes, 678,000 total quoted out of those 17. Then we closed 191,390 in revenue across around 4 to 5 projects. And then we project 235,000 in deals that will close in the next 30 days.
Wow. Yeah, and all from organic.
All
No paid
organic.
ads. Yeah.
We
All
we
from
run
organic.
Google Ads for our online store, which is separate, and we've tried them. I've tried Google Ads. We still run some Google Ads just because there's some carryover. We get basically nothing out of Google
Mhm.
Ads. It's and
Wow.
the people who say to me, because I got a lot of this pushback even from my dad in the beginning, like, "Oh, there's a lot of, people who are on social media are not necessarily as targeted as a Google ad, so they're not gonna, they're gonna be more of a tire kicker, they're not gonna buy." I don't think that's true. I think the algorithm with social media is more targeted than Google nowadays, so
Mhm.
I'm a
Yeah.
big believer.
Yeah, and especially now as, like, the meta algorithm has like, the algorithm for ads and organic is basically the same at this point. Like, it's trying to find your buyer, basically, even on organic. So, yeah, that's a super common pushback is, right, "Why do I want 10,000,000 views if they're all in Canada?" You know? But the reality is, like, you have people in your hometown around you that those people are seeing you, you know? Like, you cast a wide net, right? You've obviously become pretty good at this now, like, I was thinking about it this morning, like, why have you done so well? And the reality is, like, you put the work in for sure. Like, we hold you accountable, but like, if I hit you up and I'm like, hey, we need posts, like, you're definitely out there, you're putting the work in. What is one piece of advice you'd have for other clients, like, to get the most out of this kind of service?
It's about quantity over quality in a lot of ways. Like it's trying to stop trying to be a perfectionist and try to make like perfect content. It's just make as much content as possible and then your audience and whoever watches, even if it's only a few people, will tell you what the perfect content is, what the quality content is. So I think that was the issue where at least I had, and I know a lot of people, they start making social media, they get no views, then they try to hire editors. My dad's done it. He hires editors, videographers, drone photography people. I see all my competitors doing it. They spend 5 to 8 grand on a video, they make it, they get no views, and they post once a month or every other 3 weeks or something. I think your logic or your mindset of, like, consistency and the quantity, and then you find the quality inside the quantity is the way to go. So I would tell people it's all about consistency, and you have to keep posting every day. I do notice when our videos aren't getting as much traction or we're not posting every day, like, you see it, the phone rings less, the emails ring less, everyone here sees it, so,
Mhm.
um, is that a good
Yeah, that's great, that's great. I think, that's been my number one mistake that I see home service businesses and construction companies make is they hire the videographer, the drone photographer. They hire this basically like these are content creators that are baked into the industry because you have all of your product stuff that you need to shoot at the end of a job. So people who aren't marketers make the jump like, oh, they'll do my social media too. When in reality, they're so separate. Like they're completely and utterly different jobs. That's a mistake that I see home service and all the time is they try to do the cinematic stuff. And I reach out to custom home builders all the time and I'm like, hey, if you just filmed this video on an iPhone, it would do better. Like that alone, right?
I
Like that
tell
was
people, just sit there and talk about it, and they just wanna they no one wants to see, you know at least for me, I wanna see somebody telling me about something, talking, I wanna see a face, like, that's and the other thing I would say to kinda re-answer the question in another way is that, I think a lot of people, a lot of business owners, a lot of old school people and new school people, even people like my age, that run businesses similar, will say that, "Oh, my customer is not on there. I sell to builders, I sell to architects, I sell to designers, I sell to billionaires, I sell to whatever." I am of the mindset, and I can prove it, that everyone uses social media, whether you are unemployed and you have nothing to do besides scroll all day, you run a business and you're super busy, you're still scrolling occasionally, or the billionaire who runs 3 companies and is flying all over, he's still picking up the phone and scrolling, and I know, and it's the same thing with the builders and designers and architects because they're posting, and if they're not posting, they're scrolling, and they're seeing and Instagram is showing them if they're a designer, it's gonna show them builders and contractors and people like us, so you just have to believe that and don't listen to the, "Oh, my customer is not on there." Maybe
Yeah.
some people aren't on there, but that's okay. Most people are on social media nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find, like, maybe there's one-off person that's against it, but there's no, like, entire type of person that avoids it, you know? Like, you talk about the billionaire, and these are the people, these are your customers, right? You know? I mean, and we didn't really talk about, your, like, AOV, like, or your ticket price, but I mean, even most of the products that you sell, just singular products are like 5K. I mean, most of the stuff in the smart home industry is like, you know, it's a big ticket. These are affluent people, right?
Yeah,
That are
and
buying
it's
from you.
also we target a lot of new construction, so it's also you gotta be affluent, and you also have to be, like, either building a new house or planning a new house, or at least renovating or something. We'll do retrofits, and we do get jobs like that, but a lot of our marketing is, like, because I wanna go after the bigger jobs, I wanna go after the bigger partnerships, new construction, so, that makes sense for what
Mm.
we're doing.
You kind of already touched on it, but like, what would you say to someone that's like considering working with us or like just considering social media, like services in general?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you have to just go in and trust the process and try it and see, and you have to stick with it. It sucks when you put effort in and the videos don't get that many views and you don't get leads from those videos, but that's why you stay consistent and you keep posting and you kind of create like it's like a TV show almost. You just keep posting. And I have people who go through, they watch one video and then they watch 50 of them. So even if those videos don't do well, you think, "Oh man, they only got 3,000 views." Well, then I'll talk to somebody and he'll be like, "Oh, I saw your video." And I'm like, "Wow, I thought no one even watched that." But it turns out he saw the viral one and then he scrolled through the whole page and watched every one of them. So it's about like,
Right.
it's just consistency and just trusting the process. And then also like take data. Like the second we started with you, I had, the person who answers the phone. I talked to everyone. I said, "Do you watch our social media? Do you watch our social media? Where did you find us?" We never
Mhm.
used to ask things like that. So we started asking and asking and asking. And all these people are coming from social media now. I mean, quadrupled our leads, I would say, probably even more. So yeah, it's about trusting the process, staying consistent, and just keep posting, really.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. That yeah, you kinda start to have to ask people because that is one thing about organic where, you know, people aren't gonna it's not directly attributable right away. Like, you really have to collect that data and, um, there are some ways to get smart about it, but, at least from the branding perspective, sometimes, yeah, you do kind of have to, like, poke and prod and see, um, you know, where they came from. So yeah, I mean, I guess we could just finish off, like, obviously, I feel like this experience has kinda, like, opened up your, like, just perspective on, like, social media in general, right? Like, marketing in general, like, you enjoy it, I think. You enjoy, like, being on camera and all of that. So, like, what do you think your goals are as far as, like, content and just, like, building your brand in general?
I gotta get an agency deal. No, I
Yeah.
need, I mean, for me, I would like my plan is to just keep growing and just stay consistent and see where it goes. I mean, if I had to pick a path that I would like to go, I mean, I would like Epic to be known as, me and really Epic as the brand to be known as like the staple in home technology, whether it's like DIY all the way to, new construction, luxury smart homes like we build. I would like that channel to be known as that. And then, I almost compare, I think I said it to you one day where I almost compared it to like the Marcus Brownlee of
Uh-huh.
home tech versus
Yeah.
just like all tech. So kind of like that kind of style. But I think the biggest thing for me is that even if none of that works out and blah, 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 is that I can walk into a trade show or I can walk into a vendor and most of the time they know our social media. So I think just building that brand that's larger than life to where, we don't have to have 500 employees but to the outside world, I mean, I had somebody reach out and they asked me, "How much revenue do you do? Is that billion or million?" I was like, "No, no, no, not billion." So they really
Oh,
didn't, so it's you create this larger than life brand,
mhm.
and you just let that grow with it, and see where that goes and whatever opportunities come with that. So I think that's kinda where I'm going with it. Just create it to where it's got 5,000,000 followers on Instagram.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, it just all goes back to the consistency and the volume, right? Like, I think now our biggest thing is just figuring out, like, how to get the best content and as much of it as possible, you know? Um, so anyways, well, this is awesome. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
hopping on.
no
I
problem, man.
appreciate it, and, yeah, we'll just keep going.